The first regional championships of Regulation H has just wrapped up, being the Baltimore 2025 regional championships, and honestly, there's quite a bit going on at this event. We have a new first-time regional champion, being Nicholas Morales, and funny enough, this also happened to be his first ever regional championship he ever participated in. So, guys, if you're out there, you're new, you're scared, you know, you want to jump into events, I mean, look no further than Nick, dude. This guy literally just came out here and won his very first ever regional, so that's kind of insane. I even saw someone tweet earlier today, if he doesn't play any events till Worlds, because he has qualified for Worlds, his second ever tournament will be the World Championship, which is kind of nutty. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. We also saw some pretty big names in the VGC scene here take some pretty deep runs as well, right? You know, we got guys like Chua here, we got Toler Webb, you know, Chris Hans here, of course, Wolfey, who, by the way, had one of the most insane teams you've ever seen in a regional. We will definitely go into that shortly. But you know, we've also got guys here like Justin, Tang, Factura. You know, there's many more as we go down the list. We also got to see some pretty interesting usage stats as well. With Hisui and, I guess, Sneasler, I was going to say Hisui and Sneasler. We had Sneasler coming in. Day 1 usage was like almost 20%, and like day 2 was like 22. So honestly, there's a lot of wild stuff going on here. We also have some crazy teams here. We see a shit ton of Porygon Ursaluna here in the top 8. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this event. So to kick things off here, of course, we'll be looking at Nick's winning team. Now, crazy guys, who would have thought it? Our Chaladon reigns good. We've known it's been good since day 1 of the format. And no shock here, it actually wins the first tournament of the season. Now, one of the crazy things I will say is, if you have a look here, what, there is 2 Chaladon reigns here? Is that it? 2? 2 in the top 16. It just so happened to win, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, Nick's team here is super awesome, right? Obviously, you have a lot of the standard stuff here for this team. And then, of course, we have the MVP at the back end here. But if you guys didn't watch the set, go watch it. Maushold in Game 3 absolutely went crazy. The crowd at the event also went crazy for it. So that was awesome to see. But yeah, look, pretty standard stuff here. You know, we have the AV Terra Grass on the Chaladon. It's what you kind of expect to see. The only difference really with this set here is they've gone for Dragon Pulse over Draco Meteor. Just consistent. Basculin Legion here as well, opting for Mystic Water, which definitely interesting. I feel like we've seen a lot of things, you know, like, for example, the, what's it called? Choice Bandit and Life Orb on these teams, but Mystic Water obviously giving you that option 1 to click Protect, and then 2 also, you know, not be super scared to click Aqua Jet. Of course, you know, standard Pelipper here, pretty standard Amoonguss, got the Clear Smoke to help with the Dozo. Again, the standard Incineroar set here, just, you know, safety goggles for the opposing Amoonguss here. But honestly, the MVP of the tournament, or at least of this team in the finals, you know, if you guys didn't watch it, you know, Game 1, Nick lost. Game 2, he adjusted. He leads Archaladon Maushold. He pop bombs the Archaladon. Archaladon ends up just eating ridiculous hits. Like, I think it took like 40 damage to like a Life Orb Garchomp's Earthquake because it was +6 defense, which is absolutely insane, taking like 20-30% to an EQ from Garchomp, which is, yeah, it's freaking nutty. And then in Game 3, Nick just said, you know what? You know, I'm going to lead Archaladon Mouse, but Mouse is the carry. He goes Pop Bomb into the D-Knight, he one-taps it. He goes Pop Bomb into the Focus Sash Ninetales, and he one-taps it. Yeah, honestly, an incredibly, just an awesome showing for Maushold. It's one of those things where people forget this mon can be quite offensive, right? You look at the set, obviously, it's got Pop Bomb, which is really good with the Archaladon. It's got Follow Me Taunt, just great support sets. But, yeah, sometimes the Maushold says, you know what? No, I'm actually just going to take that D-Knight off you right now. And it's, yeah, it was crazy to see. So awesome by Nick. Congratulations. Big shout out to him. And again, being his first ever regional is so impressive, especially when you look at the names. Like, as I said at the start, right? Like, Paul Chua, man. The dude's like a 6-time regional champion. Toler Webb, one of the best players in the world. Chris Hahn, one of the best young up-and-coming players. Obviously, Wolfey, the GOAT of VGC. And again, we'll get into this team shortly. That's sick. Justin Tang, one of the best new players. Factura, one of the most consistent players in NA as well. So many big names. And this guy just says, you know, Nick's just like, hey, it's my first ever Worlds. Oh, sorry, my first ever regional. I'm just going to come win it. So that's absolutely crazy. But before we continue on here, I do want to take a quick look at the usage stats. I realize I'm covering the Bears, so we'll kind of do that there. But yeah, as you guys can see here, there's, you know, a few things here that aren't too surprising. Rillaboom, Golden Go being 1 and 2. I definitely expected it. Incineroar, funny enough, dropped down to 5th with 24% usage. But if we go back to here, the king is back, boys. He got 1st, he got 2nd, he got 4th, he got 5th, he got 6th, he got 7th. There are 6 Incineroars in the top 8. So maybe the king is not dead quite yet. So that's, yeah. Don't doubt Incin, boys. We see Prim rising up here into 3rd place. I am going to say I'm kind of shocked Prim did get 3rd, but I'm not surprised that it's 25%, I guess. I thought some other mons like Gambit and Incin and Amoonguss would be a bit higher, but it is what it is. Primarina sneaks into the top 3. Obviously, being kind of crazy too, as it is, you know, now the most used starter from Generation 7, at least in this, you know, event, overtaking Incineroar, which might be the first time that's ever happened since Incin got Intimidate, which is crazy. Gambit, obviously here, it's still incredibly good, has a really nice matchup into Goldango. And of course, if this one ever clicks Terra Dark, or gets a Swords Nest up, sorry, then clicks Terra Dark, it's doing insane damage. I played against one on Friday night at a local, and it was like a neutral +2 Sucker Punch, did like 50 to my T-Tar, which was absolutely insane. We see Archrain, obviously incredibly, you know, popular here. We also see I went to say Hisui and Sneasler again. Sneasler here at 18% is kind of nutty. It has kind of really put itself out there as the best fighting type in the format. I think earlier on, a lot of people playing it with, you know, Rillaboom, with the, you know, the grassy seed stuff, but I think people just started realizing, hey, it's like the fastest fake out in the format. And it's also really frail. So let's just go Focus Sash. Let's go Poison Touch. And let's just be super annoying with our close combats, with our Dire Claws. And honestly, this one is probably the most annoying one to play against. It's just game winning. If you Dire Claw and hit a sleep, it feels like it's a wrap, right? Incredibly annoying. Even if you get like a paralysis, right? Like Poison is kind of like whatever. And with Poison Touch, obviously you're going to get it more often than not. But yeah, this one can be so game winning. If you get the right RNG, it's kind of nutty. T-Tar, obviously, one of the premier weather setters right now, has a very good matchup into a lot of the top threats. Obviously, you know, the matchup into Goldie's kind of 50-50, but, you know, with Assault Vest and Knockoff, you can, you know, take a hit, deal a lot of damage back. Obviously, you normally run low kick with guys like King Gambit. You have a pretty decent matchup into Incin, of course. You know, you can change the weather on Pelipper, so, you know, there's a pretty good matchups there. It's also really good into opposing Talonflame HO as well, which, by the way, my GOAT cracking top 12 here, you love to see it. And then Regular Bear as well, getting top 12. This was, I would say for me, this is the biggest surprise. And like, I have been playing a lot of regular Ursaluna recently, especially on like Tail Room teams. I was pairing it up with like a Mercury team that had like a Trick Room mode as well. And I think the mod's really good, but to see it get top 12 to me was actually insane, at least for day one. Day two though, if we have a look here, obviously two mods actually fall off the list here. One being Talonflame, and what is the other? Tyranitar. So Talonflame, T-Tar both did not convert as well as they would have liked to. Obviously we see Sneasler and Ursaluna here make a massive jump. Rain definitely drops off a bit. We see P2 obviously make its appearance here in the top 12. D-Knight also making an appearance in the top 12. Goldie overtakes Rillaboom for that number 1 slot, but Rillaboom does stay consistent. It just shows Goldie's conversion rate obviously was incredibly good. King Gambit's conversion rate was really good. Obviously Amoonguss, as I said earlier, rised up a lot. I'm not surprised. I think one of the biggest issues people have a lot in the early formats is people just like, they start testing new stuff and they're like, oh yeah, like Amoonguss, forget that guy. Gussie's the GOAT, man. Even with Electabuzz rising up, which by the way, I'm shocked Electabuzz didn't crack top 12 for day one. I think that one's really good. Gussie's still Gussie, man. You put it in the right situation, it's going to put shit to sleep. It's got Clear Smog if you need a Dozo enter. Got Pollen Puff to, you know, like heal up your balance pieces. Just a good mon. Obviously, Incin, Primarina here. Incin's conversion rate a little bit better. Takes a spot back as the best Gen 7 starter. You know, D-Knight here. We did see a multi-scale one in the grand final, which I think if it was in a focus, honestly, might have been a different game. Could be wrong because it did get intimidated down quite a bit. But also we did get to see Maushold was able to one tap it anyway. So yeah, they're the usage stats there, guys. Let's just jump back to the other top teams. So next team we have on the list here is Paul's team. Now Paul's team is really sick for a couple of reasons. One, obviously it's a bit unique in the sense that, you know, this is a Lumberry multi-scale D-Knight, two very uncommon, you know, moves, or sorry, items and ability on this mod. Lum is really good because, like, obviously, one, it stops things like potential Will-O-Wisp coming out of Incineroars, and two, of course, it allows you to eat a spore from things like Amoonguss, so you can always get 2 attacks into it, which is pretty big. Assault Vest King Gambit right now has also not been super popular. Everyone right now is running like black glasses and safety goggles. So it is cool to see that, you know, the old King Gambit set is still very good. We see Alola Ninetales here be super interesting. This is no screens Ninetale as well. This is just double ice coverage plus Encore, which is kind of crazy, but I do think ice in the current format is really good. And Encore, obviously, on a mon like this is very game winning at times, right? Standard Incin. I definitely think Blitz is very good on this mon. Pretty standard Gussie as well. But the final piece, which to me was the most interesting, is the Garchomp. Now, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I've spoken about this in a lot of past videos. I think the ground types right now, like, it feels like ground's such a good type right now. But it just feels like all the ground types freaking suck, right? It's not that they suck. Like, the Ursalunas are clearly really good. But the issue is their speed stats really bad. So, like, if you're not playing them in Trick Room, it feels like they need so much investment to actually be able to outspeed anything that sometimes it's not necessarily great. And obviously, we just lost both the Landorus forms. We see Wolfey Glick pulling out a Toedscruel. But Garchomp's in this really, really weird spot where it feels like Chomp should be really, really good, right? It feels like Garchomp should be good. But it just feels super duper average, right? And I've tested it myself. I played Clear Amulet. And honestly, I think that was probably the issue, the fact that I was playing Clear Amulet. I do think these Life Orb sets here are probably the best way to play this one because it allows you to say, hey, I'm just running stab moves, I'm going EQ, Declaw, and if I am playing against the Rillaboom, I have access to Stompy T, right? So that is really, really nice here. Terra Steel obviously is very good defensively, but I do think Terra Ground is really, really good. And as well, I think Chomp plus Terra Flying D-Knight in particular is very good, right? Because, again, what does Garchomp not want to deal with? Garchomp doesn't want to deal with a Rillaboom. What 4X resists a Rillaboom? A Dragon Flying type, right? That also, by the way, has Inner Focus normally, so it can't be flinched. So yeah, I do think having D-Knight Chomp together is incredibly good. Normally you would see this paired with something else that's off the ground, whether that be like a Talonflame or a Murkrow. Even like Hydreigon as well, but I do think D-Knight kind of takes that spot as the secondary Dragon type. But nonetheless, a really cool team, and it was awesome for me to see Garchomp get second, because again, I feel like this Mon should be really good. And I wasn't able to make it work, but honestly, looking at Paul's team, he's given me ideas too, and I'm potentially thinking about switching my GC team to have Chomp, but maybe that's like a GC2 kind of thing. I'll have to wait and see. But then this is kind of where we begin to see just the line of P2 Goldie Ursaluna stuff. Now, this core is obviously incredibly good. I will say this team here as well, I really, really like because of the Grimmsnarl. I have been looking at screens for a while, because screens seems, in theory, really good, right? Like, with the lack of Urshifu, all of a sudden screens honestly feels really good in my opinion. It actually seems really, really good. And again, when you pair it up with a team like this, where you've got the Volcarona, right? This is a support Volcarona more so as well, which is kind of crazy. Like the Willow Struggle Bug kind of stuff. Obviously the Annihilate here is probably the main one you really want to get behind screens. But also you're able to set up your Golden Go, right? You have a Choice Specs Goldie who can sit behind screens. Terra Dragon if you needed the defensive Terra and start doing a lot of damage. So yeah, this is a really cool team. Obviously the Ursaluna plus P2 as well is just a really strong core. But yeah, nonetheless, this is just a sick team here. I really like seeing screens do good. I do think screens is a really good archetype. So it is nice to see, getting a top 4 placement here. We see Toler Webb's team here as well, which, if you have a look here, obviously him and Darts did run the exact same team by the looks of it. I'm assuming they built together. But yeah, this is just, again, a really cool take on it, right? So one, I'm a huge fan of Plot Goldie. When you guys see my GC team, I don't know if I'm going to reveal it before. Probably not. I'm planning to stream it anyway, so I guess you should kind of see it Friday night if you're interested in that. But yeah, I think Life Orb Golden Go is probably the best way to play Golden Go right now. One, it gives you immediate damage, which I think is very, very good. But two, it still allows you to click Nasty Plot. And if you ever get a Nasty Plot off, Life Orb plus 2 Golden Go takes lives. The thing's insane. Obviously, we have Incineroar, which is one of the best, just defensive cores in the game, right? It gives you Fake Out, it gives you Regenerator, it gives you Intimidate. You've got Spore, you've got Side Healing. It's fantastic, right? P2 Ursaluna has clearly become the best, in my opinion, combo in Trick Room. We're not seeing Side Spam anywhere, but what we are seeing is P2 Ursaluna. And then finally, to round it out, Flamigo has kind of taken the spot on this team as like, it's a ground type that you can pair up next to the Ursaluna. And thanks to Scrappy, you can close combat the Incineroars, right? You can, throw out really strong Brave Birds. And you also have wide guard support as well to help out with things like Goldango. Close combat also, thanks to Scrappy, is really good into Goldango as well. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, really, really cool team there by Toler and Chris. I think there was another player further down that also had the same team. So yeah, honestly, awesome to see. We also see another relatively similar team here with the Garchomp I was talking about earlier, the Life Orb Rough Skin stuff. Really, really solid. Obviously, we have the P2 Goldango, Incin core here. Gives you a Trick Room Mon. Also, as well, the Terrifying P2 is like super sick. I only found this out today, which to me was a ridiculous calc. If you get the plus special attack, Terra-Fighting Terra Blast will one-shot, what's it called? Max HP Terra Dark King Gambit. When I saw that happen, I was like, hey, ain't no way that guy had no bulk on his Gambit. It's like, nah, dude, max HP still gets bought by Terra-Fighting Terra Blaster +1, which was crazy to me. Obviously, I think this Primarina set here as well is really good. The Citrus plus Haze stuff just makes you incredibly good into Dozo. I was also going to say this as well. Vivillon plus Garchomp is a really sick combo, and I think we actually do see another Vivillon a little further down the list somewhere. Am I wrong? Okay, no, they just changed it. Because I was going to say, I was looking at a Vivillon team earlier today that had Friend Guard. This one here has Compound Eyes, which again is really sick. For anyone, I guess, who doesn't understand how this works, like one, it's a flying type, so next to Garchomp, you can click your Earthquakes. You have access to Rage Paddle, which is really nice. And thanks to Compound Eyes, it makes Sleep Powder and Hurricane, like, I think it's like 90-something% accurate. I want to say like maybe Hurricane's like 88 and Sleep Powder's like 93. I don't know the exact numbers off my head, but basically makes them a lot more accurate, right? Which is really, really good. So you're this really fast Mon, you have access to fast Sleep Powder. Obviously you have Rage Powder as well, and thanks to Focus Sash, you can normally live at least one hit. And you also have a really powerful Stab Hurricane, which honestly, even though this Mon doesn't have the best stats, it's not that bad because it is 1 stab, and 2, thanks to the Focus Sash, you are able to go like max. So really, really cool there. But yeah, it's crazy to see like P2 Incin Goldengo becoming like one of the best calls in the game. If you told me that at the start of the format, I would have been like, yeah, I don't know if like they kind of fit together. I get in a sense they do, obviously. They're more of a balanced core, right? But yeah, really cool team here to see that Joe was able to like kind of mix them all together, because yeah, it's one of those things. I look at the team and I'm like, does it work like synergy wise? But clearly it does. Another P2 team here as well. This is a bit more kind of what I expected coming in with the P2. I think we saw this exact 6 do really good in the Victory Road Tour 2 weeks ago. But yeah, again, really, really good. Obviously, you got the P2, you got the Golden Go, the Insane Amoongus, Ursaluna, and Tita. Again, we covered it in one of the previous videos, but it's just really good. I will say I do really like Terra Fairy Tita as well. I think it's a bit better defensively than things like Terra Flying. Because like, while obviously Flying is really good, it gives you a ground immunity and whatnot. That's kind of it, right? Like, I mean, it gives you like a grass immunity as well, I guess, which like isn't bad into things like Rillaboom, of course. But yeah, honestly, the Terra Fairy is just really nice, especially in a metagame with not that many good fairy types as well. And the final team in the top 8 here was our only Dozo of the event. Now, this was not really the Dozo teams you kind of expected to see. Obviously, a lot of what we saw Dozo running leading up to this event were things like Talonflame, you know, Choice Bandit, Dragonite, Choice Specs, Golden Go, Focus Sash, or like, you know, Meteor Beam stuff with Glamora. You know, you saw Poor Mod in that sort as well. So, like, these really, really hyper offensive teams, where this team here was a bit more balanced, a bit more slow paced, where it's like, hey, you know, we've got Clef, which is obviously really good in the mirror. It's got Safety Goggles, makes it really good into Amoongus. Obviously, we have the Choice Scarf and Annihilate here, which, again, the thing with the Choice Scarf and Annihilate that's really good, and I'll mention it with the D-Knight in particular on this team, is like, one, it gives you access to obviously like fast close combats, gives you access to fast U-turn, you have Final Gambit as well, but the big thing is coaching. Coaching Annihilate plus the D-Knight with Assault Vest is super, super, super good, right? Because one, you buff it up, you know, you make it bulkier on the physical side. Obviously, you know, you're buffing up its attack stat, which is also pretty insane as it is. And it's got access to Assault Vest, so it can change its moves. It's also really bulky on the special side. Can't be flinched by, you know, things like Fake Out. So just makes D-Knight super, super hard to deal with. Obviously, you know, we've got the King Gambit here as well, who is not running a setup move, opting for Iron Head, which I really enjoy, because a lot of people right now are seeing Gambits with no steel coverage, and it's just free. But you don't need SD when you have, you know, an Annihilate, obviously double the fight here as well, which is really cool. And then finally, to wrap it up, Dozo Geary. It's just really good. Geary here is obviously a Taunt Mon as well, which is obviously fantastic into, you know, Size Spam and whatnot, or just Trick Room teams in general, I should say. So, yeah, really, really cool team there by Lorenzo. But yeah, now, probably my 2 favorite teams from the event are about to come back to back here. So, obviously, the GOAT, Wolf Click. Now, I will say, I believe Wolf will put this team on his Patreon. I don't know that for a fact. Check his Twitter. I probably have to check too. I believe this team is going to be on his Patreon. I think. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Right. But we have some cool shit here. So, obviously, one, I spoke about the Garchomp earlier. I think Terra Ground Garchomp is really good on the right team. Including the GOAT agrees, right? The GOAT says, hey, I got Life Orb Terra Ground. My Garchomp is going to be doing nothing but the finest of damage, right? But then we have these 2 pieces right here. Code Scroll Weezing, right? So obviously, you know, if anyone's seen Weezing play, normally people run regular Weezing, especially in the current format. Big reason for that is because it just doesn't auto lose to Goldango. Wolf says stuff that. I'm going Galarian Weezing, which, again, it's a fairy type, so not a bad thing. It's Terrifire Flamethrower with choice specs. Yeah. Strange Team, obviously, when it works, or when you get, you know, the confusion, it's very, very nice. You have access to, you know, a Stab Sludge Bomb. Dazzling Gleam is obviously a great spread move. And then Terrify Terra Blast, right? Terrify Flamethrower. Very, very good into things like Goldango. And then we have what might be the craziest thing on this team. And that is the Toad School. Now, I'm not going to lie. Toad School is a mon... Yeah, I said it to the homies. I was like, hey, do you think Toad School Wizard could work? I was told no. It's like, yeah, maybe you're right. You know, it's just... It's too hard. Massilian Might's just such a bad ability, yeah? The GOAT says, fuck that, I'm gonna run it. He's got Spore, Obviously, with Galarian Whizzing, very, very good because you can put, basically everything to sleep with the base 100 speed, which is really, really nice. Cover Cloak, obviously, make sure that, you're not getting faked out. Terra Water means you're not just going to get absolutely bopped by things like Oldengo. You got Rage Powder as well if the team needs a bit of redirection. Very, very nice. You have a very, very fast Acid Spray, which I'm not going to lie, did not know this mon had. Definitely should have assumed it had it. But normally when I was looking at running this mon, you're looking at things like Earth Power, Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, Energy Ball, that kind of shit, yeah? You're not looking at things like Acid Spray, which, again, when you've got things like Hisuian Typhlosion on your team, when you have things like Choice Specs, Wheezing on your team, all of a sudden, you can deal massive damage to mons that did not expect to die. Right, you could have a board state where you just go like Acid Spray into Wheezing attacking, and then you just nuke something that did not think it was going to die, which is crazy. And then again, Earth Power, just giving you a strong, ground type move in this current format, I think is very, very good. Obviously, we have Wolf Glix Typhlosion here. He ran this in the Victory Road Tour. I will say, very, very different team to what he had last week. Obviously, this one here is a Choice Scarf set, not a Spec set. Eruption, Shadow Ball, Heat Wave, probably the 3 best moves on this mon. Then it has Sleep Talk. Now, I actually got a notification on my phone today, someone asking, like, why does Wolf have Sleep Talk on his Hisuian Typhlosion? For anyone, I guess, who doesn't understand why you run something like Sleep Talk on Hisuian Typhlosion, is because when you only have one mon that is immune to Spore, you need to find other ways around Spore. And Wolf's answer was, hey, I'm going to switch in my Typhlosion, it's going to get put to sleep, and I'm going to click Sleep Talk. And then I'm just going to pull one of my 3 random moves. And we're going to pray I hit a max HP eruption. That's kind of the gist of it there. We also see Corviknight, which is really interesting. I think it was like the only Corviknight in top 16. Mirror Armor, obviously in the current format, is very, very good. Terra Dragon is just a great defensive Terra on it. Obviously, we have Citrus Berry as well, helping with the bulk. Roost Tailwind is making it a good support. And Brave Bird as well, obviously giving you some good damage. And then finally here, Pawmot. I will say the cool thing with Pawmot is we are currently in a metagame where there are, like, again, no real good fighting types. And while it does seem like Sneasler has probably come out as, like, the best fighting type of the format, I definitely think Pawmot still has a niche, in the current metagame. Then we have the guy, Justin Tang's team. Now, Tang has become one of my favorite team builders in the game. Absolutely love what the guy does. He is unbelievable, and he's pulled out a pretty sick team. So, we see here the Life Orb Primarina. Now, one thing I will actually throw out there as well, Justin Tang built this team with TSL Tang. If you check their Twitters, the paste is there. I'll actually see if I can just grab it for you guys right now. All right, I don't know where I cut that off, but yes, TSL Tang posted the team on Twitter. So if you want the EVs, there's the EVs for the team. Shout out TSL Tang for that. My guys are the GOAT, yeah? So I won't jump back to this, but you guys can see it here. So obviously we have the Choice Specs Terra Fire Salamence here. Salamance's one of my all-time favorites. Obviously it has Intimidate. Very, very cool to see it getting really good results here, especially with, a timid Choice Spec set, right? Really, really cool. My guy Electabuzz, one of the GOATs. I've been playing this model a lot right now. It feels incredibly good into the current metagame. Electro Web is really nice. Having a redirection mon that is also immune to, Amoonguss by default is also super, super nice. And obviously as well, we see Electabuzz here with Helping Hand, which is really sick. We see, one of the, more standard King Gambit sets, I would say. Just SD Double Dark, it is what it is. Black Blast, Terra Dark. Good stuff. We see what is probably the most basic Rillaboom set you've ever seen. If you guys have followed any of my videos and seen any of my spreads, when I build Assault Vest Rillaboom, this is literally what I build. The speed makes you 1 point faster than Blood Moon. The attack allows you to hit your bump number. HP obviously is just maximizing your HP, and then you dump the rest into Split Def, right? It's honestly the most stock standard set you can ever see, which to me is really funny too, because I think a lot of people, especially newer players to the game, they expect when you see these guys get top 8, top 16 at these regionals, you look at Tang, 10th place, he went 10-1 in Swiss. I think people just assume that they're going to be these crazy spreads. Nah, dude, Homeboy just went with the simplest shit you've ever seen. His max Salamence, he's max Sneasler, he's the standard Rillaboom set. He's hitting his bump here and then just pumping the rest into speed on his Gambit. Really, really simple, right? Even the Primarina, right? The HP, literally, this defensive stat right here allows you to live this always from this exact set. This is the standard Rillaboom set, and this just says, hey, my Primarina will always live on exactly 1 HP as long as I don't get crit, which I did think was funny, because it just means you're going to die to your own Life Orb chip, but it is what it is. It's literally, this set is live the Grassy Glide, hit the bump number. I've got no idea what the Spidef here is for. And the reason I would say, I kind of dislike it in a sense is it hits 206, which Sorry, hits 106, which, I mean, isn't the end of the world, but like, it's, to me, it's so weird to hit the speed that is like one under what people use to outspeed Dragapult, right? Because it's like, and I get it, right? This is probably pairing up with Electabuzz more so than anything. But like, I just look at it and I'm like, why not just drop like 2 points from here and put this up to like 108? And then that way you at least creep everything that's going 107. Because I feel like there's a lot of mons that'll be like 107, like T-Tals and shit, so they can outspeed Dragapults. That it's like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some defensive calc I'm missing here. Like maybe this is some make it rain calc or some shit. But yeah, that one to me was really crazy. But honestly, one of my favorite teams at the event, as I said, you know, right now, personally, I'll leak it. I'm playing Buzz, Rilla, and Primarina all together right now. A really, really sick core. And then obviously, you know, Sneasler, Salamence, you know, all those boys around it. Fantastic. You love to see it. Are there anything else here I really want to go over with these teams? So, this is just like kind of a standard rain team, kind of similar in a sense. I don't want to say it's standard. It has Screen Sinister here, right? But I'm assuming this is like Pop Bomb or Beat Up. Yeah, so you got Beat Up into both the Ape and the Archaludon, which is obviously really, really good. Spell Tag and Annihilate is actually kind of crazy. I'm surprised it's not like Lefties or Citrus. Citrus is here, which kind of makes sense, but like these four here are like the super standard sets. Opting for Snarl over Flash Cannon here, which honestly isn't bad. I'm assuming the matchup into what's it called? The matchup into Side Spam probably kind of like requires it. But you do have screens, I guess, as well in Pelipper. This is a Lord Pelipper as well, actually, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, Sinister obviously giving you a cool Trick Room mode as well. Life Dew is really good next to these two as well. I guess that's actually something as well, right? Having Hospitality plus Life Dew next to like Archaludon on these teams is also like really, really sick. No redirection here as well is actually kind of crazy. But yeah, I guess screens Archaludon, you know, screens Ape, both just like really, really strong. Do we have anything else here that's kind of crazy? We see Riley Factora's team as well is actually really nice. For anyone who doesn't know about like Riley, one thing I love about this guy's teams is that he's always just super consistent. That's like one thing you can't fault him for is consistency, and honestly, he's just really, really good at being consistent. But yeah, you know, we got the standard Rillaboom set here. You know, we got Primarina, Incin, arguably the best Fire Water Grass core in the game right now. He's got the hyper offensive mode here with the Whimsicott. Obviously pairing that up here as well with, you know, the Gold Dango with Life Orb, which again, I think Life Orb Goldie is probably the best way to play Goldie right now. And then finally, Ape saying like, hey, you know, I can still play like the bulk up stuff if you pair me with like Rillaboom plus Incineroar. But I also have access to the Whimsicott here as well with Beat Up. Now, one thing I will say that is really cool about this team as well that I just noticed is this right here. Because he has U-Turn, he can side U-Turn his Annihilate to get off his bulk ups. Sorry, to get off his Rage Fist, which makes me think, is this a Jolly Max Speed Incineroar? I would be really curious to see if Riley ever puts this out, if this is Jolly Max Speed, because I could see a world where this is like speed creeping that like, you know, that 118 to like 120-ish tier. And you have like a Jolly Max Speed Incin at like 123, just like 1 point faster than it. And then like that would allow you to play like these like pieces here, like these, like the Annihilate, the Rillaboom, and the Incin all around that like 120 speeds here. That way, like under Tailwind, they're all really good. So I would be really interested to see if Riley ever makes that public. Because that's like some really cool stuff there. This team here is wild as well. I'm just gonna have a drink of water too. Stuff cutting it. We have Volbeat here with Colberberry. Now, off my memory, do I have Showdown open? I feel like Colberberry was a fighting one, right? Give me once. No, I'm not gonna check. I feel like this was like a fighting berry, but it makes no sense. Like in Terra Dark would make sense, but like as a bug type, it doesn't. Tailwind, Double Weather Encore, 0 attacking move here, but the cool thing is, it says, hey, my Archaludon likes to play in rain, my Typhlosion likes to play in sun. Guess which one I'm gonna go for. Also, the Choice Specs Primarina here is also super sick. You obviously have Indeedee as well, Trick Room and Prison stopping the mirrors, which is really, really nice. And then just the craziest Aspalthra you've ever seen. This Aspalthra is Luminous Crash, Expanding Force, Dazzling Gleam. None of the Hypnosis shit we've seen in the past. This is just a, you know, this is just a straight up, you know, it's an alpha male build. You know, he's like, hey, I'm just going the big boy stuff here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going the big boy stuff. And then Archaludon Power Herb as well on a stamina set with Aura Sphere is also kind of crazy. But yeah, that's really cool. But I mean, yeah, this team here is actually really unique. I'm kind of shocked to say a Volbeat got top 16, but hey, it happened, man. That shit's impressive. This team here, I feel like we've looked at that exact 6 as well. And my guy Dragapult does actually make one appearance here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of sad Dragapult only gets one top 16 because I do think this one's really good. But yeah, this team here is really sick as well. Like, you have a look at it, right? Obviously, you got the Rillaboom here with the Sneasler. rocking the Unburdened stuff. Obviously, you know, we got the Focus Sash Glamora, which is really good. We have Assault vs King Gambit, which again, crazy. We saw 2 of them in the top 16, but I do like it. But this one here as well is something I really enjoy. It's the Volcarona Life Orb set. Now, a big reason why I personally like Life Orb Volcarona is because even a +1, this one could feel a little underwhelming when it's rocking things like, you know, Covet Cloak leftovers. So I think this to me at least is very similar to the Golden Go stuff where, again, in the past, we've seen a lot of people go like Rillaboom plus like leftovers Goldie. That way they can heal up a lot. But it's like, you could just go like, you know, Volcarona or like a Life Orb and then kind of just keep your HP near max and just, you know, while you're getting a big damage boost. So, yeah, that's really, really cool. Obviously, Miracle Seed Riller as well. And then Goat Bend and Dragapult. It is cool to see Dragon as well over Ghost because I am a huge fan of both Dragon Dust and Outrage with Terra Dragon and Choice Bend. So that's really, really sick there. Is there anything else I want to look at? That's probably it. We have like Japanese Rain here. We have like a Delphox size spam team as well. Like it's one of those things, honestly, where like there are so many cool teams, and I'll actually talk about Nick Navarre's team as well before I take off. Justin Karras also rocking Wolf's team, which is kind of sick. But there are actually a lot of really cool teams here. Like I honestly feel like I could talk about all of them. This one here as well is crazy to me. Because I literally played against someone using this. I'm actually going to talk about this team as well. I don't want to leak who I saw playing it, but a friend of mine was rocking Choice Banded Quackwaval in Rain with Terra Water, and literally told me it's just baby Urshifu. And this shit actually slaps. It's really cool. So yeah, Quackwaval Rain is actually not a bad thing. Like Choice Banded Terra Water Aqua Step. Obviously, this one here is Focus Sash, but it is definitely a really, really cool set. Shout out to the homie Will Tank as well, man. Guy got top 36, still a really, really good showing. There's also a Hypno here at 39, man, which is kind of crazy. But where was the other team I wanted to show? That's right, Nails team, Nick Navarre. My goat out here, right, with Talonflame, rocking Sunny Day Talonflame, which, again, kind of crazy, but I do like it. Next to a Focus Sash Breloom. The goat is back, boys. It is awesome to see Breloom getting results. I know Nick's a huge fan of it. And again, this team's really sick as well. Like, I really, really enjoy this team here. This is very similar to something I was showing one of the guys the other day, where I had, like, Garchomp, Hydreigon. I will say, my team had Murkrow over Talonflame, but I do think this is a really cool adaptation to it as well, as I do think Talonflame is just a better Pokemon than our good friend Murkrow. But yeah, this here is a really, really sick team. I really, really enjoy this. I think Choice Specs Typhlosion's very good. I think Garchomp on a team with Typhlosion and Hydreigon is also really good, similar to what I was saying earlier. So yeah, this is really sick, and I do absolutely love to see it. Is there anything else? I mean, Blood Moon Ursaluna was actually kind of like one of the bigger disappointments of the event, because I think a lot of people thought it was going to be really good, and it got completely outshined by regular Ursaluna. As well, if you're interested in the top 8, that's how it kind of went down. A lot of 2-0s, man. A lot of 2-0s. Oh, is there anything else crazy I wanted to look at? Oh, my guy, Joseph Ugarte. I mean, my dude loves to play himself a little bit of Torkoal Jump Off. So yeah, it's really cool to see him out here rocking this as well. A jetpack stuff as well is really, really nice. But yeah, Typhlosion apparently is really good in Sun, boys, if you didn't know. Play Typhlosion Sun. A lot of T-Tars down here in like the 50s and 40s, so that's cool as well. Suian Samurott as well is actually a bit of an underrated mon. I'm really interested to see Brandon Zhang running that as his like main rain guy. We see some Hisuian Zoroark as well getting some play, really nice to see. Oh, I wonder, is this the same team that Ryan brought? I feel like he's here, right? That was the other team I really wanted to check. Yeah, here he is, Sableye VGC. My goat actually came out here with coaching Blaziken. This is absolutely sick. I love this. Double stab coaching on the Blaziken is wild, man. Dude, my guy, he's goated, actually. I love this. I can't believe he brought this. Like, I can't believe he brought it. But, I mean, the typing's really good. The mon hits hard, and all you really need to do is get up, like, 1 or 2 buffs, which, I mean, the Rillaboom's pretty good at helping out with. And, like, going for a side coaching into your Rillaboom is also really good, especially when it is Miracle Seed stuff. So, yeah, shout out Sableye VGC if you guys don't follow him on Twitter. Oh, sorry, Twitter on YouTube. Yeah, go follow him. But yeah, I feel like I've rambled on long enough here. Again, there are so many cool teams. We're seeing like Delphoxes. We're seeing fucking, Greninjas out here, dude. A lot of Typhlosion Sun. There's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of really, really cool teams. But I am going to end it here, guys. If you like the video, obviously like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It means the world to me. And if you guys want to see me do anything with any of these teams, let me know down below. I was thinking about recreating some of these, the top teams. Maybe even trying to do a bit of a showcase with them. So that's the kind of stuff you guys are interested in. Oh yeah, obviously, let me know. Yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.